to us.
Okay, so thank you for that. So a sports scientist is a professional who uses scientific principles to understand and improve the performance of an athlete in exercises or active physical activities. So that is what a sports scientist is. And then when we talk about biomechanics is simply a professional who has studied the human movement and uses that to enhance players' performance or athletes' performance in sport, and also uses that to mitigate injuries, and that is what a biomechanics is, the sports biomechanics is.
Wow. So what is the essence? How important this particular field to the football or to sports?
Yeah, so sports sciences or biomechanic is a vital role in modern sports now, especially or particularly with elite athletes. So we talk about high performance athletes. And what we do is we use data-driven insight and evidence-based training methods to enhance their performance, to help them improve on their performance. And also, you cannot oversight a sports scientist in this modern sports world, because they address issues of injury prevention, player development, and also performance, team performance. So sports scientists at this point, cannot be taken out of any sport and discipline. So that is the work of a sports scientist.
Wow, God bless you. Thank you so much. Wow, I think today we are in for a great information. Wow, I have no idea of what you just said. So, what is the difference between a sports scientist or biomechanic and sports doctor or football doctor?
Okay.
How do you is it football doctor or sports doctor?
So as I explained earlier on, I've already explained who a sports scientist is and who is a biomechanic is. What the comparison here is a sports doctor and then a sports scientist. Okay, so a sports doctor or a medical doctor in sports, it's somebody is a professional, is a medical professional who specializes in diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of injuries related to sports, exercise, and physical activities. So that is a sports doctor. And then, as I already, so the contrast here is with a sports scientist is that a sports scientist enhances the performance of an athlete using principles of science. So we use the knowledge of physiology, anatomy, psychology, and then nutrition. So these are the areas we look at to enhance, to help us. So we pick on these areas that also helps us to actually help a player or an athlete to be better. So that is what a sports scientist is. So the difference between a sports scientist and then a sports doctor or a sports medical is that a physician is that they uses medical aspect to actually help athletes, and then we use principles of science to help enhance athletes. So that is the difference between what a sports doctor does and what a sports scientist does.
Can you emphasize that's or summarize that statement?
Okay,
again?
so that statement simply means that a sports doctor uses medical aspect. So that means that they use diagnosis, they use treatment and prevention of injury to help an athlete, relating to an athlete.
Yeah.
Whereas a sports scientist would use principles of science in the aspect of, like we use as physiology, psychology, nutrition, to help enhance an athlete's performance, to help an athlete better their performance. So that is the difference.
So if I heard you well, has sports got to do anything to do with diet?
Exactly. So diet or nutrition is very important. So nutrition, so one of our key focus is nutrition. We look more at about 70% in exercises, 30%. So what is happening is you get a lot of people who really are athletes, but they really don't understand the process, or I'll give you an example. You get an athlete who eats right after training. Okay, so I'm asking, is this right or wrong? I would say, well, I'll give you some scenarios here. One is, science is saying that if we eat directly, if we eat right after food, go straight to to train, it's wrong, in the sense that our bodies, right? So then the muscles, actually, we've got the blood that supplies to our muscles, that helps us to perform. So when you eat, the blood will go into your digestive system. That helps with digestion, and then the absorption, and then the breakdown of nutrient. So that means that it lowers the blood flow to the muscles. So you are not getting the performance that you would need. It would lower your performance on a field. Another incident, another scenario is the fact that there's something called energy clash. So when you actually eat just before training, what happens is that the body releases something called insulin. Okay, right after that. We also have to know that there's what do you call it? When you eat, the body also generates what do you call it? Sugar, blood sugar. So what happens is, when the insulin decreases, it can cause what you call an energy clash, and then that brings about fatigue. So you'll be tired, and also distract you. Yeah, you'll be
run,
of course. So you know that's
you become a bit dull on the field.
Yes, because you're tired. You are you cannot perform as you have to. So another thing is that the third thing I would mention is that the when you eat, you're uncomfortable. You can throw up. Or you can vomit, which would cause dehydration, and we need you to be hydrated on the park. So what happens is, it's not a very good thing. And also, when you eat and you are discomfort, it distracts you from performing. So these are the areas that we educate. So we talk to people, we talk to athletes, yes. So we counsel athletes on nutrition. That is the biggest area. So we talk to them. Some athletes know their bodies. So we encourage them that if you are going to train, you can at least give yourself about like when you're eating light snacks. So we talk about fruits. Give yourself about 30 to 60 seconds before you go on the field to train. So and then we also talk about, so this is about 100 to 200 calories. So that you can train, because yeah. And then the second thing I will talk about is, if you are taking light meal, you can, which is about 200 to 400 calories, you can wait about 1 to 2 hours before you go on the field to train. And then the third one is if you are eating a very big meal, okay, 2 to 3 hours.
Is it advisable for a player to engage in eating a heavy meal, whether before or after?
No, because some of these players know their body, right? But what we are encouraging that you don't eat heavy and then just running. What you can do is when you eat heavy, wait 2 to 3 hours before you can go on the field to train.
Okay, let me interject. Is this applied to every field of sports, like boxing, or it's only
of course,
limited
yes.
to football?
No. Well, you're using yes, you're right. It depends on what sport you are in.
Yeah.
There are sports that are not high impact sport. So some sort of the compact sports, which is football and those, yes, you would have to give yourself. Yeah, that is what would the ranges. That is what I'm.
I asked this question because there was a boxer in this country, and there was a theory that, as for him, before he fight, you have to eat some balls of
heavy,
balls of kenke and chinam and something.
But even with that, you can't just eat that heavy meal and just go and then be training or be in a competition, or you have to give yourself time for the food to actually really digest before you go on the field. Another thing plus nutrition is what we look at as hydration, water. So water is very important as well. So we encourage athletes water and then something called electrolytes. So electrolyte rich fluids, very important. Balance that gives a very good performance when you're on the field.
Can you?
So yes. So electrolytes, rich fluids. I would mention one which is people really don't know: coconut water. In Ghana, coconut water is very, very, very important. Why? Because it has potassium, it has sodium, it has magnesium. You won't go wrong with coconut water. Balancing coconut water and then water before, during, and after training. Okay, so these are the things that we talk about. And also, we can also suggest, okay, so these are some of the areas that is important when it comes to nutrition with a sports scientist, because we can also make sports drinks, which is not too spiky, a simple, that has simple carbohydrate. That means that doesn't have a lot of sugar spikes, but a natural sports drink for the athletes, a simple and less economic budget. You can make a very good sports balance. So electrolyte rich fluids, very important when you are performing. So it helps enhance performance as well. Another area, so I believe that yes, as time goes on, we will talk more into nutrition and performance, which is one area that is really, really, really important.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Wow. You see, I have no idea of some of the things that you have just mentioned, and I believe I am not only the stranger in I believe a lot more, even including some of the players.
Yeah.
And that is why.
And something I want to add when it comes to nutrition is that I'll give you an example of how nutrition works. So most players I don't know if they know this, but the body is so you take the body as a car. Okay, when you go to the filling station and the car is a gas consuming car, and you put diesel in, what do you think happens? So our body is like that when it comes to an athlete. An athlete's body is like a car. It lives on 3 fuel: carbohydrate, protein, and then fat. Okay, so these, and we have proportions we consume. So something like football, we make sure that they are consuming at least 65 to 70% of carbohydrate. 15% of fat or 20% of fat is okay. 20% of or 15% of protein is okay. So we make sure that you are leaving, you have the right fuel and you are burning the right fuel. So that is something